Hello there guys. In today's video you're going to see me comparing the Hornet with the Gub. Might not seem like a fair comparison, or at least in my experience on Axton, the Gub is a good alternative, but the Hornet's still my favourite. The Gub isn't actually that bad. Of course your experience may vary with these two guns on different characters, and you know, having higher damage, it's nice, and higher magazine size. However, the Hornet, it just feels like the Hornet does more damage. Maybe it's because of the burst fire or something. But they are both damage prefix. That's what that little I don't even know what to call that. And that's what that little bit under the scope on the barrel is. That's the damage prefix. And they both have Jacob's grip for extra damage, because that's the one I wanted for both of them. One thing I do not understand about the Gub though is why does it have a slightly lower corrode chance? But then again, that might be because of the magazine size and damage. But still, the Hornet is still, I'd say the Hornet's still way better than the Gub. But still, like I said, the Gub is a decent alternative. The bar was off for when I was just using them, and because I wanted like 99% damage just to be from the guns, I banned Nuke as well as Scorched Earth. So that at that point that I usually would have in Nuke, I put into Steady. So there's extra grenade damage, and I believe the Gub gets grenade damage bonuses. I don't actually know, but I know the Hornet definitely does. One thing I will say about the Gub is I definitely felt myself relying on the turret a lot more for this Battlefront bonus here. Whereas with the Hornet, I felt like I didn't really need it as much. The one thing I will say is they both have poor ammo consumption, that's all I'll say. Though the Hornet is a bit better with the ammo consumption than the Gub. Just went with my normal build pretty much, except of course no Scorched Earth and no Nuke. Yeah, but other than that, it is pretty much my normal build, and I did have both the Florentine and Slagger equipped for this, so that when I'm up against a shielded enemy, I can quickly shred them with that, and when I'm not against a shielded enemy, I can just shoot them with the Slagger, rather than just having to switch out weapons like this all the time. But anyway guys, let's get into it. Starting off with a little bit of what the Hornet and Gub is best at. Fighting armoured enemies. The Hornet is on the right and the Gub is on the left. Now you can see that the Hornet is definitely getting through enemies quicker. However, for this area here, it wasn't actually that much quicker. But yeah, the Gub is decent, I would say. Though I did feel I was relying on my turret a lot more for that Battlefront bonus. Maybe that's just a skill issue. But that doesn't mean that the Gub is a bad gun. But the Hornet is still my favourite, I should say. Well, I have to say that because it's true. even though the Gub does have higher damage, because that lower fire rate, I was playing a little more defensively than I was with the Hornet. Yep, the Hornet's finished with this first area. So now the Gub's at full screen, so we can see that finish the area as well. I don't know why I didn't slag this gun loader, though it was almost down anyway, so I didn't really see the point. And now we skip to the badass loaders just before Hurley. And you see the Hornet's a lot quicker. Of course, to keep this fur as possible, I did keep the exact same skill tree build for both guns, exact same gear as well. I believe for this area, the Gub was only about 15 seconds behind the Hornet, which isn't actually that bad. But yes, I do switch to the Florentine here, just get the shield down because it's a slag and shotgun. And even though the Gub does have a higher accuracy stat than the Hornet, I feel like the Hornet's actually more accurate. I don't know, maybe that's just because the Gub's bandit, or maybe the accuracy is actually not as good as what it says on the item card. I did also try this out on some flesh enemies, which should be coming now. Here we go. I'll be honest, I'll say they're both decent against flesh enemies, though I wouldn't really use them. But if we're comparing them to if we're just comparing them together, though, I would say the Hornet is good and the Gub is decent against flesh enemies. Though if we compare it to, obviously, the other guns in the game, I would just say that they're both decent. Though the Gub was struggling against the flesh enemies a lot more without the turret being out for that Battlefront bonus and without kill skills. The Hornet was still struggling a little bit though. So at least some of the flesh enemies were actually bigger though, so it was easier to hit them. Would I recommend using these against flesh enemies? Not really. Though if you're doing like a challenge run or something, then obviously you're gonna have to use them, and well, you can see they are decent. Of course, depending on what character you play, it could be different. That's all for this video, guys. If you liked the video, leave a like on it, it'd be greatly appreciated. Consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.